Now, that was a quick one. Well, hello everybody. Like we've been already chatting here for like 10 minutes, but thank you so much for coming on. My name is Satu Lindgren. I'm an access consciousness facilitator and talk to the entities facilitator. And here today we have this Zoom called Navigating Unknown. And this is interesting topic. I don't remember when I put this topic up and I put this Zoom on, but for the past maybe 3 days, I've been really happy, and I guess it has to do with a lot of things, but one of the things is definitely this Zoom. And I know many of you who are on this Zoom also have been saying to me that you're being very excited and like, let's go and what can we explore here. So one thing that I'm going to say that if you are in a noisy place, please mute yourself, and so we don't have a background noise. And if you want to ask a question, you can unmute yourself or you can write in the chat. And this is really for you to ask any kinds of questions you want. Certain things that are kind of related to this topic that we can talk about, but in the end, navigating unknown, that can really include anything and everything. So just please ask whatever you want to ask about. And yeah, so what are the infinite possibilities with the Zoom, and what can you receive that you have never been willing to receive before? I know it is just a free Zoom, but what if this was the most life-changing hour of your life so far? And everything that doesn't allow that, can we destroy and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and book on nature, space and beyond. If you don't know Access already, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And if you want more info on that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. It's explained there. But the cool thing is that it works even if you have no idea what it is or how it works. It still works. Cool. Does anybody have any questions to begin with? What do you want to know? Nobody has questions. Okay, well, what has been happening in the world these past few, I guess it's been going on for a few months already, is that things have been changing really fast. And there's almost kind of this sense that we have for a long time been preparing that if something is going to happen at some point, there's going to be something. We don't know what it is, but something will just, come and change stuff. And then when this whole Corona thing started and people started really reacting to it, and different countries started closing borders and stuff like that, one of the things that I just had a sense of was that like a lot of people went into this like, finally, we've been waiting for a disaster for a whole life, and now it's finally here. Now we can just sit back and have whatever it is happen to us, and we don't need to do anything, and things just happen, and we stay at home and eat ice cream and drink and watch Netflix. So everything this is, can we just try and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and poco, nature, space and beyond. And we went into this kind of an adventure. I would call it an adventure of not knowing what's going to happen next, because we had whatever we were doing in our life so far, there was this kind of like linearity or predictability that, well, you do this, and then in March you do this, and then in April you have this and these plans, and then in May this is going to happen, and then there's June, and all of it was kind of following this predictable path. And then we got this almost
Satu,
like an...
I'm having an interruption in the connection.
Okay. How does it get better?
So is it my internet or somebody else?
Everybody else still good?
Yeah.
Because I can see.
Here it's good, Satu.
Cool. But I can hear you very well, Milena, as well. So, well, now you're kind of gone. Do you still hear me, Milena? I think Milena's internet went on
Yes,
an
yes, I'm
adventure.
here.
Cool. So yeah, so I was talking about the predictability and how we have so used to creating our lives from that kind of predictability. Oh, somebody else was kicked out for 2 moments too. And somebody has a background noise that's very funny. What is that? Oh, there we go. I think I found it. Okay, so if you have been muted and you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, but there was a background noise. I'm very OCD about background noise. So yeah, so everywhere where you have been creating your life from this predictability that this needs to happen, then next is this, then next is this, and then next is this, will you discern and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and nice space and beyond. And kind of, it was already in some way destroyed and uncreated by the situation that we are or in right now, because right now you cannot function from that kind of predictability, especially when this whole situation started. Every morning you would kind of wake up and go like, okay, well, I wonder if the store is open today. I wonder if I can get food today. And it was all this kind of like new restrictions being put on all the time. So every day things were changing really fast. But now it seems like we've kind of reached this point where everybody's used to this. Everybody's kind of used to, well, this is the new normal. This is how we are living right now. And kind of creating from this energy of whatever it is right now. But what if you didn't look at creating your life or your future from what is happening right now and what it logically is going to be next, but you created it from the infinite possibilities of the energies that you can be aware of that might not exist yet? Everything that doesn't allow that, can we discern and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and boko, nice space and beyond. And some people are really not happy with the idea of having to go into totally unknown and not have any rules, and you don't know what you can do and what's allowed, what is not allowed. And then some people get really, really excited. And I think I'm one of those people who just get really excited about that, not having to follow rules or the predictions of what we're supposed to live our lives as. And everywhere where you think that you are not excited about that, you can ask, who does that belong to? Is that really your point of view that is not fun or exciting for you? There was this one class where, when Access Consciousness class, maybe it was sometime last year, and there was this class had a specific manual and things that we were supposed to go through. And then the facilitator was Brendan Watt, and he was kind of looking at the manual. He was like, well, I don't know, I don't really want to talk about any of this stuff in the manual. Can you guys just ask some questions and let's see where we go? And we didn't talk about anything that was in the manual. We talked about something completely different, but it was a really awesome class. And then at some point during that class, somebody was walking around and accidentally dropped the manual on the floor. And Brendan just looked at that, was like, well, have fun dropping the manual. And for me, that is kind of like where we are right now. Have fun dropping the manual of how you're supposed to live your life. And start creating it from, what if there's no rules? What if there's no limitations? What if there is no guidebook, no manual? Nothing is set in stone, but you have to wake up in the morning and go like, okay, what's available today? And everywhere where this is terrifying and you are thinking that it's terrifying when you're actually just really excited, can we just try and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and boko, and nice space and beyond. And sometimes it can be kind of like, oh my God, like it's so tiring having to be present all the time and ask these questions all the time, and everything is like different all the time. Yeah.
Can we just a little slow down a little bit?
Slow down.
Sorry, dear humanoid.
Okay. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Let me know again if I start talking really fast. Yeah. So, Does anybody have any questions about anything? Or you just want to listen me talk?
Yeah. Satu, we have a question from
Yeah.
Turkey. Devrim is going to ask. Just one sec. Buraya bir çevireyim. So Devrim is saying she has been at home for various reasons in the last 2 years. And right now, despite the panic of everybody else, she's so comfortable and calm. Yes, devam et.
Ve bunu yargılıyorum. Diyorum ki bende normal olmayan
And
bir şey var.
she's judging herself that she's not normal because she's so calm and in peace, and there is something wrong with me because everybody's in panic.
Ben 5 yılı daha böyle geçirebilirim mesela. Hiç abartmıyorum.
And she's saying that she can also spend the next 5 years just like that, and she's not complaining about it at all. So she's judging herself for that.
Well, that's good, because as a humanoid, you should always judge yourself, right?
Very good. She's
Yeah, so
çok iyi diyor. Bu humanoid hareketleri bunlar diyor. Yes.
you want to meet yourself? Even though I really like listening to Turkish. But yeah, this is like also been an interesting time because a lot of people have noticed, especially those of us who maybe done a little bit of access and started kind of going like, it might be a little bit different than other people. And some people are noticing that, yeah, I'm like really freaking different than anybody else around me. And then your choices are either to go into judgment of going like, oh my God, I don't fit in. I'm not like everybody else. Or you could go into like, so I don't seem to be functioning the same way as everybody else. So what is available for me that's not available for other people? And that's kind of like going into actual, like kind of into the topic of this call, what I wrote in Facebook was that in those times before when we had all the like, what do we call those times when we had all these explorers going out into the new world and discovering all these new places, and they went there even though everybody else was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, that's not normal. Why do you want to go into some new world? Why aren't you happy with the world that we have? Why don't you just fit in here? Why don't you create your life here the same as everybody else? But these people were like, no, I'm sure there is something else behind that sea. I don't know how I know it, but I know there is something different, and I'm just going to go there. And they find all these treasures that nobody could imagine and created something completely different, not just for themselves, but for all of us. They discovered something that nobody else was aware of before. So everything that doesn't allow you to be the explorer of the unknown and have these discoveries that nobody else has found before, can we discern and create that? Better, wrong, good and bad, but and both, all natures, boys and beyonds. Because that's the same thing with like finding new lands and finding new awarenesses or new possibilities. Like nobody else knew about those before, but then somebody's like, I have a sense that there's something here, and then they go for it and they explore it, even if nobody else believes it exists or everybody else is like, that's just wrong. Like, why aren't you scared of that new thing? That's horrible. Like, how can you look at that? But then you're the one who goes there and goes like, hey, actually, this is a cool thing. I found this and it created this and this for me. And then other people can go like, cool. Maybe I want to try that too. Kind of like Shannon O'Hara, who is the creator of the Talk the Entities, which is one of the specialties of Access Consciousness. the world of entities was not something that a lot of people were very, comfortable talking with. It just didn't exist really in this reality. We didn't take it into account, especially in the Western countries. But she just went for it. And she created this massive multi-million-dollar business from that, because she looked at something that nobody else had been looking at. And then everybody was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you doing that? But she was like, there's something here. There's something here. And she went for it and didn't listen to what other people said and find all these treasures. And now these treasures are available for all of us. So what treasures could you bring into this world? What treasures have you all been aware of that you haven't been willing to bring here because nobody else is aware of them? And everything that is, can we discern and grade that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but and boko, and issues, boys and beyonds. And it's an interesting trap, that kind of self-judgment, for those of us who are really different and are aware of something that nobody else knows about, or we talk about something that nobody else talks about. And then that self-judgment, the only thing it does, it slows you down. It doesn't really do anything for anybody else. It just makes your life more difficult and your life less. So then you can look at what's your priority in life? To limit yourself or to become as great as you could be? Interesting things we're talking about today. One of my favorite quotes that I remembered when I put this call up was that ships that harbor are safe, but that's not what the ships are built for. So I always love that, and especially those times when I'm like, it's really uncomfortable. It looks like going there is like going out in a stormy sea. But then I remember, well, that's actually what I'm built for. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to create the same as everybody else and just swim in that little pond of what everybody else has been swimming in and creating. But I'm here to go out into that stormy sea and see what treasures I can find there. So everything that doesn't allow you to remember what you're built for, can we discern and grade that? Red, everyone, good and bad, but and boko, and issues, boys and beyonds. What are you built for that you have never acknowledged? Why did you choose to come here? Why are you here on this planet right now? Everything that doesn't allow you to start finding that out for you, can we discern and grade that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but and boko, and issues, boys and beyonds. There is a question in the chat about, what about according to relationship or work? Any ideas how something what I want could come to me, or just leave, all that kind of stuff? Not totally sure what that question means. How something what I want could come to me. Lotta, if you're here, you want to ask that maybe out loud, or you want to maybe clarify? Like, do you mean what kinds of tools to use to get everything you want? It kind of sounds like that. Everything that doesn't allow you to get everything you want, you want to just try and regret that. Right, or wrong, and about but boko and issues, boys and beyonds. I'll wait for you to maybe clarify that a bit. But does anybody else have any other questions? What brought you here? If you could get anything out of this call tonight, what would that be? Somebody's writing, what are we here for? Exactly. What are you here for? We all are here for different things, so only you can know why you are here. And everywhere where you have been looking for somebody else outside of you to tell you why you are here and what you should be doing and what you should use your life for, can we destroy and upgrade that? Right, everyone, gonna back with a book on nature, space, and beyond. Let's do that again. Everywhere, I forgot it because I read the question in Finnish. It's a very funny call. What did I just say? No, she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. That's fine.
You're waiting for someone else to tell you what to do.
Yes, exactly. So everywhere where you have your whole life been waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do and what to use your life for, can we destroy and upgrade that? I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I just kept looking at around me and going like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what should I do? And I was pretty good at school and like pretty much in all of the subjects. So I was like, well, that doesn't help because I'm supposed to choose one thing. And I'm pretty good at all of them. So who's going to tell me what to do? Because somebody has to tell me, because I definitely cannot know what to do. So everywhere where you are functioning from, everybody else knows except you. Do you want to destroy and upgrade that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and book on nature, space, and beyond. I love Anneli's smile. She was very sneaky.
Satu, there is a question.
Yep.
In this case, can we, is it risky to ask for help from entities?
We go into entities right away.
Right away.
Well, in what case to ask help for what? To find out what you're here for or what?
Asking them.
Cool. Well, while we wait, I'll reply to the question in Finnish. So she's asking how to get what you wish to have. So that's a good question. I actually did a Zoom about exactly that topic, but it was in Finnish, but Lotte, you speak Finnish, so you can watch it. But we talked about how, because a lot of the time, the things that we think that we want or wish for are not actually our wishes. They are someone else's points of views, there are someone else's wishes or desires, but we think it's ours. And then we keep asking for it. And every time you ask the universe, like, let's just pretend that it was a new car. You're like, can I please have a blue car? Like, I really, really would like to have a blue car because everybody else around me has a blue car and they really like it. And then in your head, you're thinking, I'd really like to have a bright red car. And the universe hears what's going on in your head. It hears you saying that you want to have a red car, but then you say out loud, I want to have a blue car. And then the universe is like, this is confusing. Do I need to give her like a car that is half red and half blue? Or what do I need to do? So that's like one of the first things when you are in a situation in your life where you think that you have been asking for things and you don't get them, then you need to ask, who does this belong to? All these things that I think I want, who does that belong to? Is that really what I desire to have, or is that someone else's? There's one very common thing is very light topic, but a lot of people think that they really want to have a relationship, and then they keep looking for a relationship and they keep asking for it, and they never really have it. They never really create it, or they create short relationships that they don't work, and they wonder why it doesn't work or why they didn't have a relationship. But it's because they didn't want it in the first place at all. They just thought that I wanted it because everybody else around them was having that. So everywhere where you have been trying to create your life from what everybody else around you has, and never ask, what do I truly desire? Can we just try and integrate that? So all of you, truth, what do you truly desire? And everything that brings up, can we just try and integrate that? Right, everyone, get about I remember when I got to this point in my life. I see Elizabeth, yay!
I wanted to ask a question, but if you have something else to speak about, I'm cool with that too.
Well, I'll just say a short thing and then you can ask your question. So, because I was in a moment in my life when I had been doing Access for a while, and I had the sense that, actually, I could create anything. I could have anything. I know how to create money for things. There's like nothing stopping me from creating what I would like to create. So what the heck? What do I choose? What do I want? I have no idea. And then at that time I was hanging out with another Access facilitator, and she was like, well, Satu, what would you like? And I was like, don't ask me that question. That's so annoying. I have no idea. And then like, because I was so like, I'm gonna kill you if you ask me that. And then I was like, okay, so if that question, very simple question, creates this kind of reaction in me, maybe there's something here that I could take a look at. So I started running clearings about it, and I just asked the question, and then I said, okay, everything this brings up, I just try and uncreate it. And I did that for a while, and I kept asking it, and she also, this friend of mine, asked me every now and then this question, and I kept poking it. And then in 2 weeks, it took me 2 weeks of really asking it and getting to this point where I was like, there was no charge to it. I didn't want to kill anybody anymore when, somebody asked me this question, but I was actually able to ask it from this, like, okay, if I don't need to function from anybody else's desires, from anybody else's realities, then I can really just ask, what would I like? And then I started having different things show up in a completely different way. But it is so interesting how nobody really asks us that question. Nobody gives us space to look at what would you like, because you're just supposed to fit into this box, into this system or society or reality or your family or whatever it is, and create your life that way. So everywhere where you have never been asked what would you truly desire, so you decided that that's a bad question to ask, can we just try and upgrade that? Well, where you decided that that's not a reality here, can we just try and upgrade that? Cool. So Elizabeth, do you want to ask your question? Elizabeth is hiding.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, sorry, it went on black, so that was a bit hard. That was actually kind of my question, so thanks for that.
Cool.
So how to, I know how is not really a real question, but I have been asking that. So what would I like? And if the things that I would like to create do not exist here, so it's not possible to look at other people, what they've created, because they don't exist, but I don't really have a clue what to, or I get it's two-part question, or I get too much information, so I don't know, and then I just stop. How?
Yes.
Sorry. So what would you ask?
Yeah, so
how can I?
So
Yeah.
everywhere where you have been disempowered from knowing what you would like and knowing that you can create it, do you want to discern and create that?
Yes.
Because that's kind of like, for kids, sometimes some parents or in some schools, they teach kids that, you could dream about anything, everything is possible. But then they never really tell you that, hey, and you can create it. So everywhere where
Yeah.
you have been disempowered out of being able to create what you know you could create. Do you want to discern and get that?
Yes.
And then it's just asking questions. Okay, if I'm aware of this, how do I create it? What's the first step that I can take? Who can I talk with? What can I do?
Cool. Kind of silly, I know the questions, so yeah, let's try it again.
Yeah, but it is interesting also, like, so often we are like, yeah, I know these tools and I know, and you know, but then we have this thing where we decided, but here they don't work. Like, I can use these tools in all the different areas of my life and they work everywhere else except in this thing. In this thing, it doesn't work.
I think I have to, I know that when I ask for something, I get it. Like,
Oh, what's that noise? Do you have some weird noise or like a static noise? I don't know where that was. Was that? And now Elizabeth froze. I think maybe she had something. Well, anyways, everywhere where all of you have been disempowered out of knowing what you know and out of knowing that you can create it, do you want to discern and critical? Whatever, get a bap and buckle and nice present beyond.
That's why I have a question. May I ask?
Yes, there was also another question that I wanted to ask, but you can go first and then.
Okay, in terms of navigation, so
Yes.
navigation, so for that we need also a kind of finding the direction. So would you recommend us a kind of small tool, like, you know, how to find, because we have lots of possibilities from what we desire, and from these possibilities, how we are going to find our direction?
Yes, that's an awesome question. So for some of you, it might be like, you're like, I have no idea what I want. And then for some of you, you're like, well, I actually have a sense what I would like to create or what way I would like my life to go. And then you're like, well, then what? How do I get there? Or should I like choose this, or is it this way, or is it this way? Kind of like what Archie was saying, how do you navigate there? So then the thing that you do is you ask questions. So you ask, what next? Or if, let's say that you have a sense that you could create a new business. You have a new business idea and then like, oh my God, yes, this is like what I could be creating. And then you're like, well, how do I make my way there? How do I find my way? You just start asking, okay, what's the first step? What can I choose first? Is there somebody I can talk with? What's required first? What's required now? And then if you have a sense that, okay, well, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, and you're not sure where to go first, you ask, what first? Or you can also ask, which of these is going to create greatest? So it is the, and this is actually really cool because it leads to the other question in the chat. So in the times when nothing is set in stone, where everything is undefined, the way to go forward is via questions. You have to ask questions. But then there is another chat question there that asking questions is good, but how can answers come to you? This is a good point. This is a lot of the times when people come to Access and they're told that you need to ask questions, and they're given all these questions to ask, and then you're like, well, then what? I asked the question. How do I get the answer? But the point of a question is actually not to get an answer. It is to get an awareness. And in this reality, the way that we are taught how questions work is that you ask a question and then you get an answer right away. Or like you're in a school and teacher asks a question and then you need to have a specific answer. So that's like this reality way of doing questions, which is not really a question. Because if it's a real question, then you don't have an answer to it right away. So everywhere where you have been pretending to ask questions, where they have just been sentences with question marks at the end, do you want to discern and grade that? And the way that questions really work is that you ask a question and you have no idea what the so-called answer would be, and you lower your walls and barriers and you allow yourself to have an awareness. And the awareness can come in so many different ways. You might suddenly see a kid in the street doing something, and that puts something in your head like, oh, wait a second, okay, right, yeah, I could do that, or I can do that. Or you might see a movie, you might hear a song, and it might be instant, or it might be like 2 weeks later. So also asking questions is really learning to live in that undefined world where nothing is defined and you don't have answers. So everywhere where you have been looking for answers your whole life, instead of looking for awareness, can we just try and regret that? Okay, that's kind of like the popular thing in the world, that you're supposed to find your answer, and when you have your answer, then your whole life is figured out and you know what to do and it will all work out. But how many people do you know that actually worked out like that? And like I was saying before, when I was younger and a teenager, I was looking at like what do I need to do? Like, who can tell me what to do? I was also looking for that answer. What is the answer that is going to fix everything? What is the answer that is going to create my life the way that I would like it to be, or the way that it is supposed to be? Instead of looking at, what if I was actually just alive right now? What would I like to choose as my living instead of an answer? So everywhere where you have dedicated your life to finding answers instead of living alive, do you want to destroy and regret that? Right or wrong, and beyond. And everywhere where you feel like you have been thrown out into the stormy sea and you have no idea what to do, and it's all very uncomfortable. The water is so cold, it is so stormy, and you just hope that somebody would come out there with a life jacket or whatever and rescue you, so that you would never have to choose anything. Do you want to destroy and regret that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but I'm Boko and Aisha's praise and beyond. And another thing also with the looking for answers is that when you're looking for answers, you're trying to find out what's right instead of looking for what would actually work here. So everywhere where you have dedicated your life into finding what is right and what is the right answer, you want to destroy and regret that. Right, everyone, good and bad, but I'm Boko and Aisha's praise and beyond. In all of those right answers, somebody has a background noise. I think I found it. So all those people who have found these different things, so like I was talking about the explorers who found new lands, or people who made scientific discoveries, they were not looking for what is right based on what everybody else is doing around them. If they had been looking at what everybody else is choosing, what everybody else has decided is right, they would have never found anything new. Like at some point in history, everybody believed that the earth is flat. And then those people who actually proved that wrong, if they had been looking for what is right or what is the answer, they would have never found out that, wait a second, it's actually round. Everybody else thinks that that's wrong, and they're going to make me wrong, but that's okay because I'm just looking for something different. I'm looking for what is actually going on here instead of what is right based on today's standards. That's one of the things that has been interesting in these past few months, is that what used to make sense or what was logical before, it keeps changing. It changes every day. There's new information, or somebody suddenly decides that no longer you cannot travel across the borders. And you're like, oh, well, last week it would have made logical sense to book a trip to go to a business trip to this country. But today there's absolutely no sense to that because the borders are closed. So you cannot really function from what is logical or what makes sense anymore or what makes sense today, because it might not make any sense tomorrow. So then we again get to this point where you have to be an explorer, where you have to ask questions and look for the awareness of what is going to work instead of what is right today. So everywhere where you have dedicated your life to finding the right answer, you want to destroy and uncreate that. Right, everyone, good and bad, but and what would it take for you to never have the right answer, but always have the correct awareness? And everything that doesn't allow that, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we have a question in Serbian chat.
Okay.
Stefan asks, what if we have a fear to start something new?
That's a nice, simple question. I like it. So that's we could go to a lot of directions with that, but one of the things that you can do when you are like, oh, I have a fear of starting something new, you can go like, okay, everything this is, I destroy and uncreate it all. Right or wrong, good and bad, but nature, space and beyond. And fear is particularly interesting, and especially in times like this, because I bet that there are a lot of people who think that they are scared right now, or that they have fear about all sorts of different things, about the virus or about future or starting something new. But something in Access that we found out at some point was that fear is a distractor implant. It's not really a real thing. It is just something that you put on and over things, kind of like a blanket, so that you will never really see what it really is or what is actually underneath it. So everywhere where you are using fear as a distractor implant to avoid choosing the life of infinite possibilities, do you want to destroy and uncreate that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but in Boko, nature, space and beyond. And there's a story when Gary, it was one of the reasons why Gary, the founder of Access, realized the fear is the distractor implant, was when he was a kid and his mom took him to an amusement park. And there was this, what was it? Somebody remember exactly what was it? Was it the big wheel thingy, or?
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel, yeah. Was it that, or was it a roller coaster? Well, anyway, whatever it was. And then Gary saw it and he was like, oh my goodness, that's kind of like exciting. But then his mom said to him, oh, Gary, don't be scared. It's gonna be okay. And then he was like, oh, I thought I was excited, but that was fear. Oh, okay. So every time when he had that sense that he was really excited about something, he thought that, oh, I'm scared. I'm really scared now. And then he always tells a joke that it was very tricky when he was, dating. So anyways, so everywhere where you are mixing up and misidentifying and misapplying fear and excitement, do you want to destroy and uncreate that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but in Boko, nature, space and beyond. How many of you have decided that you are scared that you are scared of the unknown when you're actually just really excited about it? Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but in Boko, nature, space and beyond. And truth, are you really scared or are you really, really excited? Any other questions?
Yes. Hi, Satu.
Hello.
Hi, I have a question. For weeks, I have a pain on my right side of my back. I asked lots of questions, and now I'm asking if you can ask something that I haven't asked. that changed this because I asked lots of questions, but still it is there and it's painful.
That's
How does
awesome.
it get better?
That's an awesome question.
Thank you.
That's like something that often when we do a lot of access and then something shows up, we get like a pain in our body or something like that. And then we ask so many questions, but we actually never really allow the awareness to come. We just throw in questions and questions and questions and questions and questions, and nothing really, maybe something starts changing something, but then we go into already to the next question instead of allowing the change to occur. So everywhere where you have been trying to find the right question to ask, do you want to discern and grade that?
Yes.
Right or wrong, good and bad, whatever, coordinates, boys and beyonds. And everywhere where you have decided that pain is something that is wrong to have in your body, do you want to discern and grade that? Right or wrong, good and bad, whatever, coordinates, boys and beyonds. It's interesting because there are a lot of things that we decide are wrong because, for example, a pain in your body, it's not comfortable. It's not something that, it's something that you're taught since you're a kid, that if you have pain in your body, you have to get rid of it. It's bad. So everything where we've been taught that if we have pains in our body or something is uncomfortable, it's wrong. Can we discern and grade that? Right about put a book on issues and beyond. Kind of like with the topic of today, navigating unknown, how much we've been told that everything that is unknown or that is uncomfortable is just wrong, 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 bad, bad, bad. Everything that is, can we discern and grade that? Right or wrong, good and bad, put a book on issues and beyond. And if nothing was wrong in your body, what could this be?
Change.
Cool. And if he had been empowered since a kid to know what to do with this, what would you do? And everything that doesn't allow you to have that awareness now, can we discern and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and issues, praise and beyond. Do you have any different sense with it?
Yeah, it's better, I guess. More relief.
Yeah. Cool.
Like not making it wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's amazing what it can do when we stop making things wrong or trying to get rid of something. And like, especially with pain, it's such a good example how when you have a pain in your body, it's very easy to go like, oh no, it's wrong. I have to like get rid of it as fast as I can. And then what we often do is we push it outside. We put it somewhere out there and then it's there. And then we're like, oh my God, I have this pain here. And what do I do with it? And I need to get rid of it. And we try to push it further away and further away and further away instead of going, okay, a pain. It's a sensation in a body. What is the body saying? What is the body doing? What is it changing? And is there something that I can contribute to that change? And if it was not wrong, what could be possible with it? And allowing yourself to be present with it instead of pushing it away. And everything that doesn't allow all of you to be present with everything that you have decided is too uncomfortable to be present with, can we discern and create that?
Yeah.
Right or wrong, good and bad, put and book on issues, praise and beyond. Because you are the one who knows the best what to do with everything that shows up for you. Everything that doesn't allow all of you to know that, can we discern and create that? Right or wrong, good and bad, put and book on issues, praise and beyond. And everywhere.
The question?
Yeah, so everything that, I don't think it was even a question. You are the one who knows the best what works for you, or something like that. Did somebody else catch exactly what I said? Everything that doesn't allow you to know that you are the expert of you. Do you want to discern and create that? Who has been there your whole life? You. No one else has been there your whole life except you. So you have the most experience of you. But then we at some point decide that we have to trust the doctors or shamans or just somebody else outside of us. And then we start plucking what we're actually aware of and what we could be doing with ourselves. Everything that is and everywhere where you have pushed all your capacities and awarenesses and your knowing outside of you to be at the effect of this reality, can we discern and create that? Right or wrong, there's a really cute cat there.
Thank you, Satu.
Awesome. Thank you. That was an awesome question. What else is possible now? Any other questions?
Yeah, Satu, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Fatma, thank you for the question. So, I mean, I was listening to the Dane also, and that was really interesting. I mean, I'm not putting the significance on it, but he was saying something about the left and the right side of the body.
Yeah.
But he actually didn't say what is the right side of the body. So, I'm asking, do you know something about that?
Do you want to translate and let me know, and then I can. So yeah, so Dane, and well, actually, we've been sometimes talk about it at Access classes that sometimes, not always, but sometimes when you have something on the left side of your body, it means something, and then on the right side, it would mean a different thing. And on the left side, actually now I don't remember that exactly, but on the right side is sometimes could be something that you're trying to make right, that it isn't right for you. So all the things that you have been trying to make right for you that are not right for you, that are just conclusions of what you should be doing, can we discern and get that? That's actually interesting because I've been having very interesting thing in my body and here on exactly the right side. And I have been wondering also like, what am I trying to make right for me that actually is not right for me? Because this kind of goes well with today's topic of how much we look outside of us and we look what everybody else is choosing and what they are doing. And then we are trying to, we look at that and then we decide, oh, this is the answer. This is the right thing to do. And then we try to take that on, or we try to do the same thing. And then we can sometimes have a pain on the right side of your body because your body is like, hey, you're trying to make it right, but it's not really actually working for you. You're just trying to copy somebody else instead of being you. So all the things that you have been trying to make right for you that are not right for you, can you discern and get that? Right, everyone, get on back, put on poco, nice, present beings.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And Lotta is asking about left side. Somebody wrote that left side means that you cannot make it right. And sometimes I also wonder if the left side is like where you're trying to make something wrong that is not wrong for you. And it can really be so many other things too. So you really need to ask the questions, and you need to ask questions from your body. Hey body, what is this? What are you trying to show me? And can you make it more clear to me? Because I'm definitely not getting it because I'm a bit cute and not right. So everything that doesn't allow you to ask your body to communicate with you in a way that would make sense to you, can we discern and create it all? And everything that doesn't allow you to learn your body's language and get fluent with your body's language, can we destroy and upgrade that? The cat is so cute. Oh my goodness. Does anybody have any other questions? We're like almost been here for like an hour.
Satu?
Yep.
Okay, 2 questions from Bulgaria.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'll read in Bulgarian first and then translate, okay?
Do I get to hear Bulgarian?
Yay, would you like to? Now
Yes.
you like to.
Yes, I want to hear it.
Но страхът парализира, а вълнението е свързано с действие, ентусиазъм. Тогава как да го избегнем? Да го отхвърлим? Okay, so fear paralyzes and excitement is connected to action, enthusiasm. Then how do we avoid it? To reject it?
Oh, that's a big question.
Това е един голям въпрос.
So, oh my goodness, that was so many things in such a little sentence.
В толкова малко изречение.
Now you can mute yourself though, because I can hear you. Oh my goodness, I don't know if we have time to really go for that, but everywhere that you have decided that there are things that are too big for you, so you have to avoid it and you have to reject it instead of just being aware of it. Can you just try and agree that? Right, everyone, get up and boko and I just praise and beyond. Do you want to repeat the question, because it was kind of very interesting?
Fear paralyzes and excitement is connected to action, enthusiasm. Then how do we avoid it? How to avoid it?
Cool. Yeah.
And to reject it.
Yes. So everywhere we have decided that fear paralyzes you. Do you want to destroy and grade that? Right, everyone, get up and boko and I just praise and beyond. It is, fear can only paralyze you if you are functioning from the distractor implants, if you are believing that it is real. But if you start asking questions, first you need to go, okay, everywhere where I'm functioning from the distractor implant fear, I destroy and upgrade that. Right, everyone, get up and boko and I just praise and beyond. And if this was not fear, what could I be aware of? So that's kind of how I would start with that, but otherwise it's a very longer conversation. Was there another question too?
Yes, there's another question. Да, има и още един въпрос.
Is it a quick?
You let me know. Дали е бърз, пита. А когато болката е повтаряща се и ние вече сме и гневни, какво да използваме? So when the pain is a repeating one, reoccurring one, and we are already angry with it, what do we use?
Good question. So when you, whatever it is, even if it's pain, if it's something else that continuously seems to come back to your life no matter what, it's very easy to get angry with it or to get frustrated with it. And the moment you go into anger and frustration, you can't change it. So everything that doesn't allow you to find, everything that doesn't allow you to be infinitely in more allowance than your problems are. Can we just run with that? Right, everyone, gonna wrap it up on issues, praise and beyond. Because if you keep going into anger and frustration with something, you keep doing this kind of, you push it out of you and you just make it wrong. So then you can look at, okay, everywhere where I'm making this wrong, everywhere where I'm making this a bad thing, I destroy and upgrade that. Right, everyone, gonna wrap it up on issues, praise and beyond. And then when you go into anger and frustration, you're just distracting yourself from being able to change it. So then you can also ask yourself what you love about that problem so much that you will not find the allowance to actually change it. Another big question, really, but you have the big ones at the end. We have already been here for an hour and it went like super fast. Does anybody have anything else that is really required to be?
Satu, we have one more question. One of our friends, Nilsu, has, I don't know if we have time for that, but she's going to establish a business and there is something stopping her and she cannot spare time for the business. So
Cool.
what can she ask?
So everywhere we have decided that starting a business means that it requires you to put aside a certain amount of time for it. Will you discern and grid it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. And everywhere where you are in love with stopping yourself and being able to complain that you're stopping yourself, can we discern and grid that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. And then another thing that I would really, really recommend, whether you are starting a business or you already have it or you've had it a long time, is that every single day, destroy and uncreate your relationship and all your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections of the business. Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. Even if you think that you haven't started it yet, but if you have the idea, if you've had even a half of a thought of it, you already started it. It already exists in some level. So everywhere we have decided that you haven't started your business yet and you keep trying to start it, even though you already started it, do you want to discern and grid it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. Then you can ask, what would it take for me to actualize this? And all the things that you have all been trying to start in your life, even though you already started them 20 times, but you never just actualized them and took them to the next level, will you discern and grid it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. Awesome. That was a lot of stuff and a very weird Zoom, and it's already like 5 minutes past. Unless anybody else has very burning question, then I would say that let's go to sail the stormy seas and find the treasures that nobody else expects and thinks that we can find, but are actually just there waiting for you to say yes and leave the harbor. Everything that doesn't allow that, can we discern and grid that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and buckle and nice, praise and beyond. And don't have any fun, that would be bad. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Satu.
you.
It was great call.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.